Hi, my name's Drew, and thank you so much for reading my blog, The Science of Happiness. Today we're going to cover the difference between stress, anxiety, and depression. Everybody feels stress from time to time. In fact, there's probably rarely a day that goes by that you aren't stressed in some sort of minor way. Getting stuck in traffic, running late for an appointment, even just worrying about a meeting that you may have had with a friend or how a job interview went. Whatever it is, stress is an everyday part of our lives. So for most people, it's usually very brief or in the moment stress. For others, it's a daily pressure that starts to weigh down and inevitably starts to affect sleep patterns and your current state of mind. So what is the difference between stress, anxiety, and depression? Stress, it's a normal reaction to a situation where you might feel under pressure. It's part of our primal fight or flight response, and it's intended to keep us safe and alive. Sometimes the stresses come from an outside source, like being stuck in traffic or coping with different situations at work. And sometimes they're internal and brought about by an overly active imagination or irrational thinking. So anxiety is still having those feelings of stress long after the actual offending event has passed. This constant feeling of being stressed, even though there's no longer any imminent danger, is what is classified as anxiety. A constant worry over finances is a good example of everyday worry that many people carry around with them, and one that tends to bubble away under the surface. Over time, this stress turns into anxiety. Now, depression is more than just feeling down. People who are depressed have feelings that are much more intense, and they extend for longer periods of time, and often for weeks or months, and for some cases even years. They find it hard to function every day, and it's almost as if the enjoyment has been sucked out of life. So depression is one of the most common mental illnesses we have in society, and it's been estimated that 1 in 5 people will experience it at some stage of their life. Stress is usually a precursor to anxiety, and anxiety is usually a precursor to depression. What that means is that if you are under stress, if you don't find ways to release the feelings of stress after a certain event that's caused the stress has passed, or learn techniques to cope when you're under stress, then that underlying worry you carry around with you is likely to be ingrained as anxiety. If you suffer from constant anxiety for too long, chances are that you could slip into a depression a lot more easily. This becomes a vicious cycle that's really hard to get out of. So what's the answer? You need to learn to deal with stress and anxiety early on in the cycle. If you don't do this, once those feelings have a hold, they can really affect your happiness and enjoyment in life in very subtle but often destructive ways.